here's an interesting one. I told Will about this, and he looked up into it, and he found this was kind of interesting. So there's this website called Bulimia.com. Well, for those who don't know, bulimia is basically it's an eating disorder.
And it's where you're forcing yourself to throw up after a meal to reduce the chance of gaining weight. But it's also borderline anorexia.
Right. Well, they have now thrown their hat in the ring about video game characters and with female video game characters and how they're displayed. And they're demanding that the video game industry start making... We just came up. They made a gallery of pictures of video game characters that are more realistic looking, and by realistic, I just mean have more weight on them. And they want the female video game characters to look more realistic, or at least be more, yeah.
Oh, that's attractive.
Yeah. No, well, more love handles, and no hourglass shapes, more thicker midsections, more realistic looking. So,
look, message to the fatties: work out.
Look, neither one of us are in great shape either, And
I don't look like Dante or Ryu, but I'm not going to be like, oh, they're unrealistic. People look like that, okay?
I am very proud to say that over the past few months, I have lost about 23 pounds. I'm very happy about that, by the way. And but the thing is that, look, for all due respect, I understand what they're doing, and their hearts are in the right place. But okay, do you really want to fight? Is this where you really want to put your fight in this whole thing? How video game characters look? All right.
Okay, now here's the thing. Instead of trying to solve and better yourself as a person and losing weight and trying to get healthy for yourself, you're trying to instead change the world around you to conform to your problem.
Well, they're using the whole thing that, well, with these characters, it's damaging because it's putting it in the mind of young girls that they have to look like this.
No, it's not. You can look like this, though.
It's all that's the thing, is that who's to say... Well, first of all, there are women out there who do look like Lara Croft.
Yeah, there are women out there who have a huge emphasis on fitness, working out.
We have family members who are just like that.
Yes, I have a niece who's a 3-time winner at those stage shows where...
bodybuilding.
Yeah, bodybuilding.
Posing, yeah.
Bodybuilding, posing with those spray tans. She's in the Marines, and she's a 3-time winner at those things.
Another thing too is that if you're going to be Lara Croft, Ms. Croft, and if you're going to do tomb raiding, you're going to be in exceptional shape.
You're going to be in exceptional fit. You're not going to be a fat coffee latte butt climbing up mountains. No.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but if you have a problem with it, work out. Better yourself. Don't point fingers at somebody or a product for looking better than you. Realistically, yeah, some of these, and it's very rare that some of these people look outrageous.
Okay.
It's pretty rare, but yeah, just because I'm seeing muscles on top of muscles on Kratos or any other out insane character, I'm not gonna say, oh, that's unrealistic. I'm not that much in shape, so you need to change that to conform more to me and play more of a
because this is hurting my feelings.
Because this is making me feel insecure about myself. Grow the hell up.
Another thing too about video games is that they're also focusing on there are a lot of different characters that have different body ranges, men and women.
Yeah.
I have a problem when people say, oh, they want inclusivity, they want to be inclusive. Well, no, you only want to include the ideas that you want. You don't want to include the things
that's what's cool about Dark Souls is that you can actually create a fat-ass character
yes!
if you want.
You can. You're just focusing on the one thing. And really, if you take away all the lean, big-boobed or small-hipped women characters, is that really going to solve all the world's problems?
No.
Right?
It's not going to solve it because then you'll just find another outlet to abuse. And
right.
Because, I stick to what I said. You're just trying to change something around because you are too weak-willed to do it yourself. And you can.
Right. It's very easy to sit behind your keyboard and complain.
To look at the images of the characters that they are changing are definitely very real goals.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sonya Blade. That is a very real look.
Yeah.
come on. And I've seen better. Like, I've seen women that are, like, disgustingly muscular.
And there are women who do use plastic surgery. It's out there, of course. But there's also
But
women...
that's your choice to make.
Yeah, but there's also women who do it through diet and exercise.
Yeah, and don't be lazy. Don't point your finger at something else just because you're insecure. I mean, grow up.
Mm-hmm. Trying to change everything
around you
to conform what you want it to be. You know, it's like, well, you know, this whole thing about being inclusive, you know, when it's inclusive, it includes everything. Why can't you have people who are thin and, you know, and people who are heavier, or, you know.
And they do, in context of whatever story they're trying to tell. They will add that.
Right. You know, let's take all this stuff away. It's like, well, why are we have to take away stuff? Why can't, you know?
You don't have to take away anything. If you have
if you don't want to play it, don't play it. If you don't want to look at it, don't look at it.
Yeah, if you're upset that you don't look like that, we'll change that. Get off your butt, go to a gym, find a workout regimen, start dieting, work to better yourself.
Right.
Because that's obviously a you problem.
You know, you can't have being inclusive just halfway through it. If you're going to be inclusive, you got to include everybody.
Because there are millions of men and women that can and do look like these game characters they're portraying. Hell, cosplayers do a really good job at it.
Right. So
I don't want to...
If you're trying to get your message out there, that's fine. I just think you're going about it the wrong way.
Yeah, like, terribly wrong. Like, I don't know what message you're trying to go for. This sounds like just like a you problem, and you're trying to change the world to better match your... whatever problem that you have.
Like, when has now being in shape... So have we reached this point now where now being in shape is offensive?
Well, yeah, because look at the world around us. It's easy to get out of shape.
Yeah. So...
And of course, people aren't comfortable with themselves.
And another thing too is these are fantasy characters. You know, that's another thing.
You're escaping the realism, but even then, games are so realistic these days that you can't say it's not realistic.
Exactly.
I mean, hell, they're putting they're modeling these people after real people. They have bodysuits that people have to wear and perform this stuff that these game characters do. So
it's ironic that after the Tomb Raider movie, Ms. Croft started to look more like Angelina Jolie. Have you noticed that? They were kind of morphing her a little bit into it. So yeah, you're right when you said that. It's like a lot of these fantasy characters are based on.
I mean, yeah, go back to the first Tomb Raider movie with Angelina Jolie. Look, she was in perfect shape.
Right.
So I don't want to hear this. This is crap.
You know, as like, all right, you guys are, your heart's in the right place, but I think you're going about it the wrong way. You know, and bulimia is a very bad problem.
Yeah, bulimia is a very big problem.
Yeah, but you know, making everyone, you know, bigger. But here's the thing. You know,
here's the thing. These characters are not going through bulimia.
No.
So your message is kind of a bust. Like, if these characters were doing bulimia or anorexic things, then you got a problem. Then you'd have a point.
Right. They're just in shape because of the line of work that they're in.
I mean, go to Lara Croft's house in her game. She has got one of the biggest gyms in there. So she clearly works out. Use that for inspiration.
Right. You know, it's like, so... I don't know. I just think it's also kind of offensive to say to people, well, these are not realistic people. Well, no, there's people out there who can look like that. There's people, you know, who exercise and diet and eat right.
Yeah, there are people who do look like that. Millions of people who do look like that.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I just think it's, again, it just seems like video games are always the problem. It's always our fault. It just seems like we're the new comic books or the new movies. Like, you know, video games are the end of society.
Oh yeah, that's how it always was. Like there was a time where books used to be the end of society.
Yeah.
Like it started with books. Books used to be the thing that would rot your mind. Then it went to comic books, and then it went to it started off with like magazines, and then when the movies were being made in the early 20s, that was a thing. Like don't go watch that, that'll rot your mind. And then the comic books started growing prominent in the 40s and the 50s, and then they're like, don't read those will rot your mind. And then music started to get a little bit more out there in the 70s and the 80s when they started introducing more things. That's the devil's music.
Right.
And then video games became a thing. So it's just when something new comes along, that has to be the blame for everything. And I'll bet you in about 20 years from now, if not around that, the whole blaming video games thing will be a thing of the past, and we'll have found a new outlet completely different to blame.
It just seems like, why does being inclusive mean eliminating all these other things? You know, we can't have exaggerated art. We can't have wild fantasy characters. We can't have extreme violence, because apparently, video games extreme violence, which has never been any proof that causes violence in real life.
Well, I'm not a big fan of over violence anyway,
but I wouldn't take that away from anyone. If someone is excited about Doom 4, I'm not going to say, well, no, that's too violent. You can't play that game now.
Well, yeah, it's your choice. It comes down to that.
Yeah, right. I mean, and that's right. It's all personal choice and preference. Why do we have to force our beliefs on others? Mm-hmm. So